Okay, we're going to karate chop the spring into place. Don't you wish it was that easy? Alright, what's up, Purist? This is Bob from Purist Motorsports again. A little update of where we are with this 1990 Saleen Bleakley Ford car. I've got the front suspension all done, and man, don't you wish it went like that every time? It doesn't work that way, but it does in the video world, huh? But just to talk about what we did. We got the struts put in. These are Monroe OE Spectrum. I'll remove the sticker, but they're just no OE. They're actually made in the USA. I did not know that. I'm kind of excited to hear that. Got the springs, which are 93 from a 93 Saleen, but 1990 to 93 have the same progressive rate springs. The 89 and older cars use a constant rate now. There's probably a transition period in 89 and 90 where that probably carries over a little bit. There may be some early 90s with constant rate springs, and with that there could be some 89s with progressive rate springs. You never know. It's just a small manufacturer thing with overlaps. Some cars got the previous year, some cars got the later year anyways. So we got that all put together. It's great. It's good to have that. I didn't really go through all of this. I'm OCD. I want all of things to be cleaned and do that, but I'm not focusing on that right now. I'm just going to get the car on the ground, kind of enjoy it and drive it for a little while. So we might paint the belt moldings black. That's what they were black to begin with. So just to get it back to where it was more like what it was. But there's that there, and then this side is here. This is aftermarket. Like I said, I think previously this I'll show some snippets, but this was in the wrong spot. I've got video of that. But that washer right there was on the bottom. It's was surprising the number of things that were not right. This castle nut, I need to put a cotter pin in it, as you can see. But this was hand tight with a cotter pin in it. I could actually loosen this with my hand. That's not good. The strut bolts, one was really tight, the other one wasn't tight. In the back, the shocks, the lower bolt, one of them was barely tight on one side, and on the other side it was really tight. So when you're buying a used car, especially if you're not mechanic or mechanically inclined, be sure to have it inspected, because it was dangerous. Had this car just gotten on the road and driven, there have been things that could have potentially come apart over time. But that's the front suspension. The rear suspension, I went to, let's see here, we need a light, don't we? Let's get a light and plug it in. But the rear suspension, same situation. There's things I want to restore, want to fix, want to get things right, but at this point I don't need to focus on that. We just need to focus on getting it on the ground and get it running, get it tested. Call it, I guess you just would be one of those things where it's kind of like a pre-assembly check. You get everything put together and then you take it back apart to restore it, or the final fit and finish. A lot of those shows do that, you know. Let's see if we can get a light. Yeah, that's a little better. But again, the springs are correct for the car. I just kind of coated the rotors so that way it protect them. I changed them too. The rotors that were on it were ones that were aftermarket, and they are a different style than what would have actually come on the cars, at least the cars I've seen that were low mileage. This one here is curved and flat. It's really not a really high quality. It's not a high quality rotor, but it's an OE rotor. This one here is more of a machined. You see the edge and then the back side, the way things are on that. That's going to be better for another car that I've got. But I changed them out just because these will be able to take more abuse, especially if we're going racing. So more to come on that later, as I've said before. But anyways, I got that. Obviously the bracket's been painted red. The calipers have been replaced, which is a good thing. but the springs are here. This shock, this is what I liked about these Monroe shocks, is that they were already painted black. They're like an OEM look, which the shocks that came on these cars, I mentioned in the previous video, there were the Monroe Formula GP struts and shocks, and including the quad shock. But the quality of that time for the Monroe, that was probably the highest quality at that time. And I don't know, hopefully, I don't know if anybody's chimed in on the other video yet, but it'd be nice to know a little more engineering about those, because Saleen used them, and they had actually the versions where they could rebuild them at the racetrack, so they could actually gas them up and change things at the tracks. So, but we'll get stickers and put this on there. These are good enough to get around. I don't know, that I got to get the list. I want to find out what this car actually came with, because it's got a bunch of parts on it. I keep finding more stuff. The upper control arms are actually welded and boxed. There is a Motorsport H pipe. It actually has cats in it now, but it's the old 2 1/4 off-road H pipe. I've got another one to go on it to replace it, to put it back, the old off-road H pipe. But anyways, this is got the suspension back in place. Also put taillights in, factory taillights. They got rid of the smoke look. And then underneath here, so the other thing I fixed is this. I actually put that back together. The air dam is up the way it's supposed to be. But that's it. We're getting there. So I'm waiting on the wheels from a friend, and we'll be able to get it on the ground. It's a mixture of colors. I think it's the gray and the gold ones, so it'll be fun to get it on the ground. Maybe have gray on one side, gold on the other temporarily. The car came with red wheels, so we're going to paint them red down the road. But anyways, that's it. That's all we got right now. More to come. Stay tuned. Peace out.